All right, guys, this is the last part of the review. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. All right, it says Susan and Jim both babysat. Susan earns $15 for hour. Sorry, $16 for 2 hours of babysitting and $30 for 4 hours of babysitting. Jim charges a set fee of $10 plus an amount per hour. His fee in dollars F for H hours of babysitting is given by the equation F equals 7H plus 10. Which statement is true? Now, 7H, we know H is representing hours. 10 is the set fee. So how much do you think he's charging an hour, right? It's got to be 7. All right, so let's look. It says Jim charges $10 an hour. Well, we just came up with that he charges 7, so that ain't it. It says Susan charges $7.50 an hour, which is higher than Jim's hourly wage. Well, let's see. Because if she charges 15 for 2 or 30 for 4, if we plug that in the calculator, 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 and 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. So yes, she does charge 7.5, and it is higher than Jim's, which is $7 an hour. So that actually checks. It says Jim charges 7 an hour, which is true, which is higher than Susan's. No, because she charges $7.50. Susan charges, nope, that's not true. So the answer is B here. Okay, for the next one, if f of x equals x and g of x equals 1 over 2 times f of x, how does the graph of g compare to the graph of f? If we know f of x is equal to x, then this is g of x equals 1 over 2. F of x is x, so we could just write 1/2 x. I suggest we go to y equals and plug it in. Let y1 be x and let y2 be the 1 over 2x. And press graph. Notice this blue line is the x and this red line is the 1/2 x. And how does it compare? They both go through the origin, so there's no shift up or down or anything. However, notice how it says f, which is the blue, is steeper than the graph of g, which is the red. That's actually true. I think that's it, guys. Then it says the graph of f is perpendicular. No. The graph of g is 1/2 unit above. No. The graph of g is 2 units to the right. Nope. The answer is A. If we look at 35, it says a study was conducted in a small town in the fall. The data compared the number of residents diagnosed with the flu and sales of ice cream at local groceries. Based on the given data, is it correct to conclude that a way to avoid the flu in the fall is to eat more ice cream? I doubt that's true, but let's just see what happens if we plug it in the calculator. Stat, if we plug that in, 403, 465, 352, 240, 102, 65, and then in L2, 3, 11, 31, 45, 58, and 87. All right, if we press stat, calc, 4, enter, enter, enter. All right, this is a trend, right? It's a -1, but it's a trend. It says, so no, this is not true. So we're not looking at the yeses. We're looking at the no's. No, there is a weak correlation. Well, how do we know if we're talking about correlation? Don't forget, second 0 gives and turning the diagnostic on will tell us our R. So make sure you scroll down till you get to diagnostic on. All right, now if we press stat calc 4, R is -0.97, so it's actually pretty strong. This is a strong negative, right? Remember, the closer it gets to -1, the stronger it is. So it says no, there is a weak, nope. It says no, although there is a strong correlation between ice cream consumption and flu incidence, this is not evidence that ice cream consumption helps prevent the flu because it is a casual claim. This is true, right? Think about causation. Would the cause for the decrease in flu be because more ice cream is being eaten. That doesn't make sense, right? So it's D. All right, we already did the backside 36 through 39 in video 3. But let's go to number 40, okay? It says a system of the linear equations is graphed below. What is the solution to the system of the equation? Well, it's kind of hard to see what the solution is because we see that they will intersect, but we don't know where. So the best thing to do is to choose 2 points and write an equation. So here's a point and here's a point. This point is -2, 2, and this point is -1, -2. So if we put that in a table, -2, 2, -1, -2, plug it in. All right, this equation is -4x minus 6. Y equals -4x minus 6. For this one, if we choose 2 points, here's a point and here's a point. This point right here is 6, -9, and this point is 9, -7. Okay, so if we plug that in here, stat calc 4. Okay. So this equation is y equals 0.6666, repeating is 2/3 x, and then minus 13. So we can plug this in our y equals now. So that's -4x minus 6. This one is 2/3x minus 13. Press graph. And we see it's happening down here, so we need to zoom out, enter. And if we press second, trace 5, enter, enter, enter. This is 1.5 -12, which is C. It's C. All right. For 41, it says, which graphic representation best shows a relation that is a function? So that means that it doesn't cross the vertical line test, basically. It has to pass that. It doesn't cross more than once. This looks like a function right here in part A, actually. We know that B is not a function. Oh, that's not a straight line. All right. All right, we know B is not a function because look, it crosses here, here, and here, right? So not a function. Here, right? And then here. Okay? So answer is A for 41. All right, let's go to the next one. So let's look at 42. It says the graph here passes through -7, 0, 1, 8. So we're going to just mark that on this graph. And we can definitely draw a line. And it says, which statement is true? The slope is -4/3. Look, this is increasing, so it's definitely not a negative slope. And then it says the graph K passes through the point -1, -8. Well, here's -1, -8. The graph is not passing through there, so that's not it. And then it says the 0. Don't forget, 0 means x-intercept. Okay, it means x-intercept. So, come over here where the x-intercept is. It is at -7. So that's actually the true statement. No, the x-intercept is not 7, right? So it's C. Now, if we look here at 43, it says, what is the rate of change of y with respect to x? So if we look here, rate of change means slope. And remember, I told you, when you see a table, put it in the calculator. So that's what we're going to do. So this is all right, plug all of them in, press Stat Calc 4, enter, enter, enter. And what is our rate of change? That's A, 10. So that's why the answer here is A. All right, done with that. 44. If we look here, it says the graph of this is this, right? What are the slope and y-intercept? Slope, y-intercept. Really? Slope and y-intercept. Remember, slope and y-intercept is given by y equals mx plus b. Now, of course, you can just look at this graph and tell. Or you could also plug these points in a calculator and find it that way. Either way, look here. The y-intercept we know is 1. Therefore, anything with -1, we should be canceling out. So now we just have to determine, is the slope 5/7 or 7/5? We can do that a couple of ways. I suggest the calculator because it's easy. So this would be -7, 7. This would be -4, 6. Stat Calc 4, enter, 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 enter. And it says 0.71 for all of that. Now, let's see which one is that. Is it 5/7? Yep, because 7/5 is 1.4. So our answer here is B. All right, now for 45, says, all right, we're given this. Which inequalities best describe the domain? That, remember, that's X. Range, remember, that's Y. So look at the beginning of the graph. Since this is an endpoint, look, starts here, comes here, right? So that's the domain. It goes from -7 to 6. Well, this domain doesn't go from -7 to 6, so that's not it. This does go from -7 to 6, so maybe. This one doesn't go from -7 to 6, so that's not it. And this one does too. Now, because these endpoints are closed, that means less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So the answer has to be actually J. Okay. Now, when we look at 46, it says here's the graph. It's asking for the rate of change. Remember that slope. See how they give us 2 points? Let's just put that in a table and plug it in the calculator to find the rate of change. So this point is -4.7. And this point is 4.1. Plug that in the calculator. Oh boy, wait a minute. Plug that in wrong. Stat Calc 4. And look how our A is -0.75, which means our answer is D. And for this one, it gives us the function 7 minus 4x. What is the value of f of -5? That means our x is -5. So that would be f of -5 is equal to 7 minus 4. And instead of x, we're just going to write -5. If we plug only this into the calculator in the home screen, we get 27, which is F. All right, for 48, it says, in which step below does the mistake first appear in simplifying? Notice in step 1 is simplifying this first parenthesis, in step 2 is simplifying the second parenthesis, and in step 3 is simplifying the third parenthesis. So 0.5 times -12c, or we say half of 12, is -6c. So this is right. And half of 6 is 3. So this is right. So step 1 is right. Notice how these are just bringing down what's there. For step 2, we already said this was right. So now negative 3 times c, yes, is negative 3c, so that's right. And then negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, so that's right. So step 2 is correct. Now for the last one, it just brings down the first 2 steps. And now for the third step, 10 times c is 10c, yep. 10 times negative 5 is negative 50, yep. So step 3 is great. Now the last step here is where we combine like terms. So we're going to take the negative 6c, negative 3c, positive 10, and add those together. So that'll be negative 6 plus negative 3 plus 10, and that gives us 1. So that means this should be 1c, and then we have to take the 3 minus the 12 minus the 50, which gives us negative 59. The step 4 is the one that's incorrect, which is why this is D. When we look at 49, it says the perimeter of the rectangle is 42. The length of the rectangle can be represented by x plus 4 and its width by 2x minus 7. What are the dimensions of the rectangle? Well, so the width is 2x minus 7. X plus 4 is the length. Remember, when we talk about perimeter, guys, all that means is to add all the sides. So when we add this up, 2x minus 7 plus x plus 4 plus 2x minus 7 plus x plus 4, all of it, this represents the perimeter, which we already said is 42. So from here, we're actually going to just combine like terms. 2x plus 2x plus x. What is that? 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. That's 6x. Right? And then we have to do, I'm going to do this in the calculator. Negative 7 plus 4 plus negative 7 plus 4. And that's negative 6. Which is 42. So we can solve this. This is just a 2-step, right? X wants to be home alone. We add 6 to each side. That gives us 6x equals 48. To get x by itself, we divide by 6, and x is equal to 8. That's still not telling us the length, though. But if we want to find the length, all we got to do is take this x equals 8 and drop it in. Drop it in. So 8 plus 4 is 12. Which one of these has a length of 12? Only J, which is our answer. Now for 50, it says which set of ordered pairs contains only the points that are on the graph y equals 12 minus 3x. Graph, that means go to y equals in your calculator. And we're going to plug that in for it. So come here, go to your y equals, and plug in your 12 minus 3x. Press second graph. And we're going to look for the points and see which one has these points in it. So I'm going to go back up here. And notice, negative 327, negative 27, that's not here, which means these aren't the points on this graph. All right, let's look at negative, let's say negative 6, because that's closest. Negative 6, nope, that's negative 630, so this isn't it. All right, negative 527, uh-oh, we got one. All right, let's check the others. Negative 115, yep. And then 8, negative 12, yep. The answer is C. These are the points that are on this graph. That's it, guys.